Hello, my name is Anabeli Higareda, and I have the honor of introducing the senior class's treasured golf star, Aubrey Guyton. I have known Aubrey since the beginning of our time here at St. Mary's, and I can honestly say she is one of the sweetest and nicest friends I've ever had. Not only is she one of the most kind-hearted people I know, but she is also a fantastic and talented golfer. I don't know much about golf itself, but I do know Aubrey, and I know that she has a strong passion for this sport. I know that she has some wise words to share with us today, so please give it up for my friend, Aubrey Grace Guyton.
The defining moment of my life occurred in 5th grade, when I was diagnosed with dyslexia. Looking back, this was not the first moment where I was shown that I learned differently from other people. In 1st grade, I was tested for glasses because I skipped over the little words. In 2nd grade, I tested out of the morning class for students who needed extra time, even though I was still far behind on my reading level. That same year, we would take spelling quizzes at the beginning of the week to see who would take the advanced quiz and who would take the easy quiz at the end of the week. I remember one week where the majority of my class, except me, qualified for the advanced quiz. I remember always struggling with spelling and vocabulary quizzes, no matter how much I studied. I knew that I learned differently than other people before I was diagnosed. But it wasn't until I was diagnosed that I was forced to actually acknowledge being labeled with a learning disability. I struggled with understanding what the label of dyslexia meant to me. My 12-year-old self was taught by society that having a learning disability meant that I was not as smart as my fellow peers, and that I was less of a student than everyone else. The idea that having a learning disability makes you less intelligent than those around you is false. Dyslexia is a learning disability that cannot be treated with medicine, but instead treated through learning different educational techniques. I learned certain techniques to help me overcome my characteristics of dyslexia, but I will always be dyslexic because dyslexia is not something you can just outgrow. Learning about this new label made me question who I was and where I belong. Along with everyone else in middle school, I was trying to figure out where I belong, and I began to believe that I did not belong at St. Mary's. In other words, I believed that I was not intelligent enough to be here. My discovery that I have a learning disability led me to believe that I could not be successful in school. This caused me to become easily discouraged when I did not understand what we were studying or when I received a lower grade than I had wanted. I was especially discouraged from what people told me about being dyslexic. When another person found out I was dyslexic, she asked me in 8th grade if I could actually read. Someone else told me that I don't deserve accommodations in school because it is unfair to others and that I don't need them. I've been told that I can only get a decent grade on standardized tests because I have extra time, not because I'm smart. I have been asked if I was stupid when I was younger and overcame the stupidity. I've been told countless times that because I am dyslexic, this life hands me melons instead of lemons. After being so discouraged, I started to struggle in school and refused to accept help. Throughout my middle and high school years, I have needed help with school, yet I have not always welcomed the idea of getting help. From 5th grade to 9th grade, I worked with over 6 tutors. Most of the tutors did not help me that much, not because they were inadequate at tutoring, but because I did not want the help. I wanted to prove to everyone that I could be independent, and at the time, I believed I could only make this happen by ignoring help from others. However, I soon learned that I needed assistance before I could successfully do my schoolwork without help. Although I have finally reached a point where I can successfully do my schoolwork independently, I still need help with it occasionally. Around my junior year, I began to realize that having a learning disability does not make me less of a student than my peers. Finally, I reached a point where I accepted help and would ask for it when I needed assistance. I understand that everyone at some point will need a little help, and that is only normal. In my past, I let the label of dyslexia overpower who I really was. At first, I focused on being labeled dyslexic, but dyslexia is only how I perceive the written language. For me, dyslexia is reading slower than others, skipping over words when I read, and not being a great speller. While dyslexia causes me to struggle with the written language, this trait is only one of my many characteristics. There is so much more to me than one label, and that label does not define who I am or who I can become. I will most likely always struggle with something in the classroom, but I no longer believe that being dyslexic holds me back. Instead, I believe that I have become a stronger student. My experience of struggling with a learning disability has taught me to advocate for myself and to ask for help when I need assistance. The label of dyslexia, for me, shows my strength and what I have managed to overcome. Thank you.